Good morning. Sorry if it's echoey in here. I am in my bedroom, which everything is out of right now to paint. But I thought this was like the perfect room to show you my virtual interview fit. It's like about a little over 30 minutes before my first interview of the day. It's halfway through OCI Wednesday, and I have 6 screener interviews today. So like, I think this is my heaviest day. I didn't have any days where I just talked to a friend who had 9 today, and like, that's unlikely because you can only do like 30-ish. So it just kind of depends on what days they're doing things. But anyway, I have 6. I just thought today was a good day to show you a day in the life of on-campus interviews virtually with FloRecruit. So yeah, I'm going to show you my outfit, which is business on top and comfy on bottom. And then we will get into my interview day. Okay, I'm still making changes in here for the paint, but so yeah, jacket, shirt, sweatpants, Uggs. So this is my fit. Okay, super quick, this is my setup. I have a ring light. Wow, that's further away. I have a ring light, and I moved things out of the way, so there's like marks on the wall too, like because I moved art off the wall so that I have a blank space. I have a nice comfy chair, a webcam with my Mac, and I'm also connected with Ethernet through, I got an adapter for my computer just because I don't want any issues with connection. So I'm on Central Time, and all of these interviews are on West Coast time because Stanford. So my first interview isn't until noon, which means I've already had lunch, but advice that someone gave was to be as comfy as possible. And like, some people need the full like suit experience to feel like they're ready to interview. I don't feel that way. So I'm as comfy as possible, and that also means having water. And then also I've got a unsweet peach tea from Sonic because I'll be doing a lot of talking. So just stay hydrated is kind of like my approach to this. Okay, before I do my like final review of notes for this interview, I thought why not kind of show you how we bid a little bit, and then also the system, since until you do it, whether that's like as a 1L for 1L summer internships, because that's possible too, or if this is happening next year with FloRecruit, which I think a lot of schools and firms actually are liking FloRecruit for these initial screeners because they're so quick and you have to talk to so many people. So I thought I'd show you those things before I get into my interviews for today. This is our system in FloRecruit, and you put your documents in every day to like your resume and your transcript, write examples for the firms that want them, and then it puts all of your upcoming interviews down below. On the other side of the screen is like your next interview is scheduled. It shows the name of the person, the time, and it gives a link to like the actual FloRecruit room. Aside from that, like, there's not much. You can't get in until 2 minutes beforehand. You can test your audio and video, and I'm going to use that to show you what this actually looks like. Over on this side is where, like, even if you're in an interview, it shows you like all of your other interviews coming up, and then this is like the screen where your interview happens. I'm going to start, and then let me fix this because my camera isn't connected right now. So this isn't like the best coloring. It looks much better in person, but I've got my ring light turned on and like join the meeting. This is still a little bit whiter than it looks in real life, but it gives you an idea. And then you can test your signal. I'm using the Ethernet, so it's good. And So this camera, like the actual picture on the Zoom looks more like what's on the camera. Um, I am going to leave you right here for now while I take the next 15 minutes or so, just like looking over my notes and getting ready for this interview. Okay, so that was my first interview of the day. They were like 5 minutes late, and with that, the way that our system is set up, we cannot, as students, have interviews back to back. Like, they want to make sure that we are on time, not doing an overwhelming amount in a day, although that's debatable. And so, like, I generally sign on to the system, like it lets you in 2 minutes beforehand. I like to do it just like 1 minute beforehand so that I'm there when the person gets there. And my person was 5 minutes late, and that could either mean that they have their interviews back to back to back on the firm side, so that like they just got talking to someone and like they're having an issue. But I have also heard about firms like ghosting people, and that can either be these are partners and like even just like busy associates that something came up and they could not get out of it, or it can also mean that they just aren't interested in you. Like they pulled up your information, they're like, nah. And that's unlikely but possible. So like as it approaches 5 minutes, I'm like, is this meeting happening? And just like right at that 5 minute mark, the partner popped on. They're like, sorry, I've been behind ever since I got on, and so I'm playing catch up. Luckily, they actually didn't have someone after me, so even though we were 5 minutes behind, we talked 10 minutes over, and it was a really good conversation. It's hard to know about like firms aside from like what you can read, and they were like, no, you're spot on. I'm glad you like this about the firm. So that felt good, at least, that I wasn't like not that I would be wrong because I get the information from like the firm side or like talking to people and things like that, but just that rang true to them and didn't feel super general, like something that could apply to any firm. So that was done, and I think that's like the only that's the second time someone's been late enough that I've been kind of worried, but no shows for me yet, and I've got about 30 minutes until my next interview, so I am gonna look into some research for my next. Probably what I will actually do is start researching firms for tomorrow, just so that today is so long and I don't end until 6:30, even though I started kind of late. So I am gonna try to get as much of like that done before the day ends with interviews, so that when my last interview happens, I can hopefully be done or mostly done with looking into the firms for tomorrow. Like when I made my bid list, I did have reasons for why I picked certain firms, so I have some information, but just like having like the specific examples written out and ready, I don't have. So that's what I'll be doing off and on. And I have a spreadsheet for that, but like it has names and things, so maybe I'll show you the headings at some point. I feel like that's a pretty spot on question, because when I started my job, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought that was like a good space to figure out what kind of graduate professional program I wanted to do. Okay, so just finished my second one. I felt solid about it, but like I feel like when you feel like good but mostly neutral, it's hard to know how that's going to turn out because they're talking to so many of your amazing classmates. So we'll see. And then in my last like break, I really got nothing done. Instead, I watched Cicely, like the Biglaw account, talk about OCI and not panicking about anything. So I guess I could show you. This is her TikTok. I'm looking at it on my computer instead of my phone, but you know, now I am actually going to do some prep since I have like 35 minutes before my next interview. I'm like actually going to do it this time. Okay, so it took my interviewer 10 minutes to like get to my meeting or my interview, and I very honestly thought I was just like being ghosted, which you never know why. Like I said, like it could be multiple reasons, but it was so long. Apparently in the system, like career services can see like how many people are in the room, and they were like, we can see that you're in this room by yourself. We're gonna check into this. But before they could get back to me, like a minute after that, the partner logged on, and I have no idea how their system works, but like we have links to our rooms, but I think they have links to multiple rooms, and he was in the wrong room somehow. So not ghosted. It's actually a really good conversation, one of the better ones I've had. Like just like completely conversational, and that was nice. But yeah, so was not ghosted in the end, but really weird situation. But it's nice to know, like that if I am by myself, that it's not like up to me to be like, what do I do? That like they can see that I'm in this room by myself. So yeah, I have like again like about 30 minutes before my next interview. And my next one is, I'm not gonna tell you, but like yeah, in 30 minutes. So I'll do some research into that, but before, or like look at my notes for that. But I thought I would show kind of like my like research for like my spreadsheet. Sorry for any glare from my ring light, but yeah, I made a whole row so that you couldn't actually see like my notes in case I'm like, this person was terrible. I didn't want that on the internet. But yeah, so like I have the firm, the location, like where I ranked them initially, just like to get an idea, like the date, and this will be like the outcome eventually, whether like it stops at a callback or an offer or like nothing. And then contact, this is for if I talked to another like student or alum or something, and then just like notes from that. My practice areas of interest, I have a few. Some firms meet more than others. And then partners of interest, and then anything in the news recently, like it's big. Like I like FinTech and stuff, so like if they've had like a really big deal that I actually think is interesting. And then interviewer 1, just like notes on them. Interviewer 2, I haven't had more than 2, so like leaving that at 2. Standout facts, just like anything about their program, like if they have any special like sub areas or things that they're doing. And then like my post interview notes, so I can be like, it was like pulling teeth, or I had such a great conversation. But yeah, that's my kind of process for keeping track of things, and I'll do the same thing for callbacks, for like to make sure they have information on the interviewers, like anything. I will probably talk to more students in between now and callbacks probably, like, and by that I mean like people who either did like 1L internships or 1L summer associate positions with firms, or like 3Ls or rising 3Ls who did their summers with them this year. I've done some, but it's just like I said, we had up to 30 bids. It just was impossible to do that for everything, or I was not willing to do that for everything. So back to researching firms for tomorrow to kind of like put more specific things in this, and then look into my next firm interview, screener, whatever. I just realized that my next interview is not in 30 minutes, but in an hour and 30 minutes. It's hard to kind of like, even though I know like there's a 2-hour time difference between what's on my schedule and what's on the clock, I still get confused a little bit. But yeah. So I took my jacket off, just laid back. Maybe I'll a snack. Yeah, I think a snack sounds good. Okay, we went with mac and cheese because it's a comfort food kind of day. But now that I have an hour, it means I really should get further along because I've only looked at like one firm for tomorrow, and there are 5. So I just finished with my 4th interview of the day, and right before it started, the fatigue of this kind of hit me. But I have 2 more now to go, and one of them I've never talked to before. The other I have through just like on-campus things and like contacts who I already knew working there. So that should be a little bit, I don't gonna say more chill, but nicer. We'll see. They could be like hard hitters though. I don't know. Okay, so I just finished my interview, the one that I thought would be not chill, but just like really conversational. It was. I cannot think of many like very specific like behavioral background like work questions that I got asked. But the best way to describe it might be cerebral. And I know that doesn't really say much, but I should have been a little bit more prepared because I did know the person that I would be talking to. I'd talked to them in passing before, and that's their personality. But I just thought that, you know, like most offices have boxes that they're trying to check, and like I think this partner just has like the ability to say yay or nay based off of your conversation, even more so than usual. So interesting conversation. It was good. It was one of those things where like it kind of almost makes you uncomfortable, but in a way that similar experiences I've had before when I've been pushed, it makes you think harder. It makes you really put a lot of analysis into what you say before, you know, you actually let it come out of your mouth. So it was good in that way. Not expected for a screener though. So if my completely disheveled state does not tip you off, I'm here to tell you that I finished my last interview of the day. Thoughts on it? It was very fast-paced. Like the partner talked really quickly, and I was kind of afraid at a certain point that like I would run out of questions because they were going through things super quickly. But it was good and neutral overall. Another thing, the vibe I got was like very extroverted, and I know like since it is client facing, like law sometimes seems like it could be like an extroverted space, but actually I feel like a lot of the personalities that enter it are pretty introverted to a certain extent. So like that's always interesting to run across like a person and the way they describe their team and their firm is like very extroverted. So I will make of that something later. But yeah, I am done, and what I will do is we have kind of like a way of checking in with our advisors, and I will probably just kind of send an update with my day. I don't have much news, but I'll share what I have. I will also probably touch bases with friends just to kind of like mostly like not really find out about like their process, but just how they are, because it's been a lot. I am very hungry with very little motivation to actually make dinner. So hopefully my mom will come through. Okay, well, that's all for OCI. It's so weird. It's not even like, I feel like with the callback stage, like at least like it's building and like the interviews are a little bit longer. This is just like back to back to back interviews, 20 minutes, almost no time to really get much. I really think that it's the opportunity, like they get to see your resume and stuff like that and put a face to it. And they've probably pretty much decided, and it's kind of like yours. You know, if they liked your resume, it's yours to lose. If they and like your transcript, of course. And if you don't, it's like one last moment to like probably not really impress them. Like they probably pretty much decided based off the other information, but like just making sure that somebody who looks really good on paper isn't actually the most socially awkward person, and that they could never put in front of like clients or a judge or anything like that. So I will see you in my next video.